1 hour, okay,
50 minutes, and then 10 minutes for question and answer.
Okay. Just to let you know a little bit about myself, we bought our place here in Valley Center in 1975. We bought 10 acres, didn't know anything about what we were doing. I knew water would cost me some money, not as much as it does. And so we just started doing that. By profession, I'm a chemist, or I was. I've retired 11 years now. Worked for Allergan Pharmaceuticals for most of that, which is eye care, skin care, and Botox. Signal slant. And I got into this. We started doing kiwi fruit and avocados. Turned out our land was not cold enough for kiwi fruit, so I had to go looking for other things if we were going to make any money at this. We haven't made a lot of money at this since. But we got into jujubes. If you've ever heard of them, Chinese dates, that's the one that makes me the most money. Here's a crop that will take temperatures down to 30 below zero or more. You wouldn't think it would ever fruit here, but yet they do. The one main problem, or when we're looking for different things, I try to push the zoning to go from tropical and bring them up here. But you can also do the opposite. You can take very cold hardy plants that would grow in Siberia and try to bring them down into these climates. Either way, the reason I chose the tropical, because those tend to have larger fruits. If you get fruit out of Siberia and in Alaska, those tend to be very tiny fruits, so I don't want to mess with them. I want to eat this bigger stuff. Okay, I'm just going to go through what all I brought, and we'll get about a minute and a half a thing, and you can ask questions. It's a fast question, and then I got to continue on. This is what's called a wax jambu, and you'll be able to come up and see these. I brought two colors. One is the white one, called the Kong White from Maurice Kong in Florida, and this is the red one. Brilliant red, just beautiful up in the tree. Looks like somebody decorated it for Christmas. Air-layered plants. Longans. Lychees don't do well here, and I did bring one. They hate our water. Our pH and our salt is just wrong for them. They get burned up from our salts, so they're hard to grow here, but longans are really easy to grow. I have several of these plants fruiting at my house in Orange County. The crows love them. They swoop down, grab what they want, take them up on the roof, and start pecking them to open them up. So we're awakened about 6:30 every morning to the sound of either the crows pecking on the roof or the seeds rolling down the roof and falling. Two-story. But these are a wonderful tree. 20 years ago, everybody said you couldn't grow this here, and it will grow wonderfully here. So don't give up on a lot of this stuff. Now there are some things we probably can't grow here. Durian. I don't know if you want to even grow durian, but some people do want to do it. So there are some things that are just too tropical for us. But if you're excited about doing something different, prove me wrong. Get durian growing here. You'll make a lot of money to begin with because they're about $5, $6 a pound fresh in the market. So it's a challenge to you to grow this stuff. Okay. Oh yeah, this is one. I doubt anybody has seen this one. Sansapote, or Sansapote. I don't know what it's related to, but it has a kind of a brown, orangish fruit, elliptical. I think it's barely edible. Some of this stuff isn't the greatest in the world, but most of this is pretty good here. But I just love seeing this different stuff. And we go to Florida about every 2 to 3 years at the Fruit and Spice Park. They have a program around the 4th of July. And it's 4 days where they take you all over to different backyards, and you can see what they're growing in Florida and just whet your appetite to try to grow those things here. So I do put this in the newsletter for the Fruit Gardener magazine. So please come with us. Get a cheap fare. Hotels aren't that bad in Florida in the summertime. Sure, it's hot and sweaty, but let's have fun. Here's one that I've only seen 2 plants of it in the United States. It's a true sapote. doesn't have a common name. The scientific name is Puteria hypoglauca. It's a Central American fruit. And it has two basic flavors. From the skin on in about halfway, it's like eating a pear. It's crunchy, and it's somewhat pear-like. But from there on to the seeds, it's as creamy as can be. Just beautiful taste to it. This is one I got a lot of promise for here in Southern California. We had a bad freeze, as most of you know, 2 years ago. All the sapotes that I had virtually were killed, except this one. This survived a little better than 28 degrees with no damage whatsoever. So if you live in the colder areas, El Cajon, that type of thing, this has got a good chance for making it here. Jaboticaba. This is a Brazilian fruit, and it's it's called califerous because the fruit is born on the trunk of the tree. And when it does blossom, the whole trunk will just be covered with blossoms. A couple of months later, these purple, grape-like fruit will just cover it. It's real nice fruit. The skin is a little thick, but it's very nice eating. You can freeze them and come back months later and have them. So these are real nice, and it's a pretty tree.
How tall?
More shrub-like than tree-like. 20 foot maybe.
How old does it have to be to start fruiting?
I got my first fruit this year on my tree at home, and I got this little baby seedling from one of the club members, and it's been 18 years. So, you know, it's not a real fast growing. Some people can get them in 2-3 years. It all depends on the seedling that you have, because they're almost all seedlings. A story that Chris Rollins at the Fruit and Spice Park likes to talk about. He shows us their big tree on the grounds, and it's just loaded with fruit. And he said that it was donated by one of the club members there in South Florida, and she air layered it. She didn't know you can't air layer these trees, and so she air layered it, and it was just fine. So that's the source it is. This is the biggest one I can bring this. I got bigger trees, but they're all 15 gallons. This is Japanese raisin tree. The rest of the English-speaking world is Chinese raisin tree. And I have no idea why we don't follow the rest of the world. It's like papayas and pawpaws. We have our differences. And I'll show you the fruit. I brought plenty of it for people to try. It grows on these clusters. And you'll notice the little black round things at the very end of it. That's the actual fruit, the little round things. And you pick all those off, all the little fruit off, and you throw them away, and you eat the stem behind it that is swollen. It's called a pseudostem, and it tastes amazingly like raisins. So it's real interesting. They do smell like raisins once they get going. And that's a property that does happen in some fruiting plants. Find the right pocket here. Yep, there it is. Anybody know what these seeds are?
Cashews.
Yes, cashews. And what you eat is inside, this is the actual fruit, but it hangs from what looks like an apple, which can be red or yellow, and they juice them in the tropics. And that's not the fruit at all. That's another pseudostem that is swollen. You and I would call it fruit, but it truly isn't. I would love to grow cashew here. The moment they hit 50 degrees, they go south. They could care less about us. Okay.